Indiana Fever just obliterated the Chicago Sky.
The Indiana Fever absolutely dismantled the Chicago Sky.
Indiana Fever destroying the pathetic Chicago Sky.
So there's a lot of fun stuff that I do want to go over with you, like how Caitlyn was kind of trolling Angel, I think.
Fever versus Sky isn't much of a rivalry.
Angel Reese is a terrible basketball player. She has regressed as a player. Her decision-making is equally as bad. Her defense is now non-existent. She's gotten worse at scoring layups.
It just happened. Caitlyn Clark walked back onto the court and instantly made Angel Reese regret ever stepping into the spotlight.
The Chicago Sky were also trolling Caitlyn Clark a little bit because they spelled her name wrong on the Jumbotron. Who doesn't know how to spell Caitlyn Clark?
In front of a massive crowd, Clark humiliated Reese with a dazzling performance that left the arena roaring and Reese visibly shaken.
Angel Reese, they never should have done this. I might feel somewhat bad for her.
If you're 100% Team Caitlyn, drop a 100% in the comments right now.
She's a star caliber player. Caitlyn Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
She is more famous than all of this generation's stars.
Caitlyn Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
Because what she did tonight was nothing short of legendary.
The Indiana Fever beat the shit out of the Sky so bad, Caitlyn Clark looked like she was legitimately bored out of her mind. This was domination. And this Chicago Sky team is not even close to the Fever.
Caitlyn Clark didn't step foot on the court, and yet she completely stole the show. While Angel Reese played under the bright lights,
Angel Reese was not a great player, and she misses most of her layups. She's just not that good of a player. I don't know why people are treating her like she's a superstar.
all anyone could talk about was the return of Caitlyn Clark. Reporters flooded social media with updates the moment Clark addressed the media. She confirmed she was being reevaluated, revealed she was making serious progress, and even teased the possibility of returning as soon as Tuesday.
Great news. Caitlyn Clark is set to make her return possibly this upcoming Tuesday.
For this weekend, I'll be reevaluated and we'll have a better idea of when I'll return.
That one sentence, "It's a possibility," was enough to hijack the narrative and remind the world who truly runs the WNBA spotlight. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. Reese was on the floor, struggling through defensive misreads.
She's worse at finishing through contact. She's more hesitant to shoot the ball. She now has eliminated the mid-range from her game. She's eliminated so many of the good parts of her game.
And a lackluster offensive effort, while Caitlyn Clark sat out, yet trended harder, hit headlines faster, and dominated every broadcast.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlyn Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlyn has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
Reporters called her presence game-changing, and even while sidelined, fans were chanting her name.
Caitlyn Clark, assistant coach. She's probably going to be
Sky. Coach, what are you going to have your eyes locked in on early?
I'm going to be locked in on Caitlyn Clark as assistant coach.
Okay.
The animated Caitlyn Clark, assistant coach. She's probably going to be saying, get Aaliyah the ball.
Yeah, she's going to be helping out the refs as well. Sky.
Begging for her return. One creator said bluntly, "She is needed. If she doesn't play, they might not have a chance to win unless the other team has an off night."
She was minus 20. She's not had a game this year where the team is better with her on the bench than on the floor. Can we stop the myth that Angel Reese plays defense?
That wasn't about Reese. That was about Caitlyn Clark, a rookie being the deciding factor in a professional team's success, even while injured.
Everyone wants to see Caitlyn Clark back on the court at 100%.
She is needed, fam. She is needed.
And let's not forget, While Reese tried to prove she was the star, Clark was sitting with the coaching staff, analyzing plays, learning from the bench, and showing maturity beyond her years. She wasn't sulking. She wasn't posting. She was studying. She told the media she loves practice more than most love the game.
Yeah, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game. But after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what they think. But I feel like I've made a lot of progress and I feel good and, I'm not going to rush coming back. It's just not worth it. But after this weekend, I'll be reevaluated and we'll have a better idea of when I'll return.
And even called this injury a chance to grow. Meanwhile, Reese looked frustrated on the court, visibly shaken during tough stretches, unable to lead when it mattered. The humiliation, it wasn't one play, it was a truth the whole crowd saw. Even off the court, Caitlyn Clark is outshining Angel Reese. And that's what really stings. While Angel Reese suited up and hit the hardwood, something wasn't right, and everyone watching felt it. The crowd was massive, the noise deafening, but it wasn't for her. It was for Caitlyn Clark, who wasn't even playing.
Caitlyn Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season.
As the cameras panned across the arena, fans wore Clark jerseys, held up signs begging for her return, and shouted her name during timeouts.
Christine Brennan puts it perfectly. WNBA without Clark, league feels the hurt. Without Caitlyn Clark, fan fervor's down, ticket sales are down, merchandise is down.
Reese, who's no stranger to the spotlight herself, suddenly looked small. She missed key shots, committed sloppy fouls, and showed a frustration that could be seen in her body language. It wasn't just a bad game, it was a psychological unraveling. The timing couldn't have been worse for Angel.
Angel Reese is not a threat down there. She's not a player that's going to cook you offensively.
Just minutes before tip-off, breaking news swept through social media. Caitlyn Clark was making progress fast and could return by Tuesday.
Caitlyn Clark says she will be reevaluated this weekend and is making progress as she looks to return from a required injury.
Her own words, "I feel good, and I've made a lot of progress," lit up the internet. Reporters called it a massive development. Fans rejoiced.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
And in that moment, the entire focus shifted. The pressure on Reese mounted. How do you shine when you're sharing a court with a ghost, one more powerful in absence than some players are in person? How Clark has stayed locked in mentally, becoming an extra coach on the bench. She's not just watching, she's learning, taking notes, offering feedback to teammates. She's connecting with the coaching staff.
I mean, Caitlyn was pretty expressive like all night. She was just really cheering on the team. There's definitely going to be a gif going around everywhere of this one.
And you have to love the balanced scoring in this one when you get 17 from Mitchell, 13 from Natasha Howard, 11 from Boston, 12 from McDonald, 9 from Hull, on and on down across the board. They got a bunch of three-point shots up in this game too, 27 attempts, which is encouraging, 11 hits, 41% from three. But the defense is the night and day difference. Now, it helps when you play the Chicago Sky.
She's evolving. Reese, meanwhile, has been visibly shaken on the court, snapping at refs, throwing her hands in the air after missed calls, and struggling to rally her team. No one needed to say it out loud, but everyone knew. Angel Reese is feeling the weight of Caitlyn Clark's shadow.
Angel Reese right here. She was deep in the bag at this point right here. This is one of her go-to moves. Dribble. Let me throw it up, and no.
And when the shadow gets that big, even the spotlight starts to feel cold. It's humiliation by contrast. Not because Clark outscored her or broke her ankles on a crossover, but because Caitlyn Clark didn't even need to play to dominate the moment. Reese had the stage, but Clark owned the narrative. That kind of control, that's next level. That's superstar status. And for Angel Reese, knowing she was outshined by someone in street clothes, that's what brings the tears.
Caitlyn Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
cannot deny the impact that she's made on this sport.
Even off the court, Caitlyn Clark is defining what it means to be a professional. As Reese stumbles through inconsistency and emotional outbursts, Clark is quietly crafting something bigger than stats or highlights. She's building a legacy. Clark has spent every day of her recovery staying locked in with the team. She's attending practices, talking through strategies with coaches, and watching film. She said herself, "I love practice. I love getting better."
Caitlyn Clark is more mature. Caitlyn Clark has decorum.
Caitlyn Clark obviously is jet fuel to its popularity.
Caitlyn Clark is far better of a basketball player and has made such a tremendous impact in a greater number, more so than Angel Reese. Everybody knows that. Her college career was better. The stadium sales, the WNBA popularity has gone up because Caitlyn Clark.
That's not just passion, it's obsession. It's championship DNA. Meanwhile, Angel Reese seems increasingly lost. On the court, her performance has been shaky. Defensive lapses, turnovers, and emotional reactions are starting to define her more than her hustle.
Angel Reese is a liar. Angel Reese is a fraud. Angel Reese is a sociopath.
Describe Angel Reese in one word.
Bitch.
Ghetto.
Bitch. Trash.
Garbage.
Mid.
Off the court, the spotlight hasn't been kind. While Clark is earning respect from WNBA legends and analysts alike, Reese has found herself entangled in petty drama, thinly veiled resentment, and a growing sense that she's more interested in attention than ascension. And the worst part? The fans are noticing. During Clark's absence, the WNBA felt her loss. Ratings dipped, buzz slowed.
The Caitlyn Clark effect is going to be tabled, and we're going to find out what kind of ratings and attendance we see for the Indiana Fever.
Clark is the only driver of your business.
But the moment she spoke to the media, confirming she was close to a return, the energy shifted. You could feel it. Commentators began speculating when she'd be back. Fans flooded social media with supportive posts, and ticket demand for her next game surged. That's the Caitlyn Clark effect. And what was Angel Reese doing while all this happened? Playing and still being overshadowed.
And Angel Reese tonight was in for 27 minutes. She scored 4 points. She got 2 assists.
Today was a disaster class. She has had 3 to 4 disaster class games this year.
She's not good. She is just not good.
Let's be clear. Caitlyn Clark doesn't need to prove anything anymore. She's already done the impossible. Dragged an underperforming Indiana Fever into national relevance, carried the league's media attention on her back, and redefined what rookie pressure looks like. Even with a quad injury, she's leading. One creator said it best. If she doesn't play, they might not even have a chance to win. That's how vital she is. She's not just a player. She's a system. She's the engine. And while Caitlyn Clark keeps raising the standard, Angel Reese is struggling to meet it.
They aren't an even match anymore, so I don't know if this is still like necessarily a rivalry.
She wanted to be the villain, but now she's just being outclassed. Not by someone on the court, but by someone sitting in a tracksuit, learning, listening, waiting. That's the part that cuts the deepest. Because when Caitlyn Clark comes back, and make no mistake, she's coming back soon. She's not just returning from injury. She's stepping back into a league that never stopped revolving around her. For Reese, that's the ultimate humiliation. She had her chance. Clark was sidelined, and the cameras were rolling, but she couldn't seize it. Instead, she looked overwhelmed, frustrated, and outmatched by a ghost. Caitlyn Clark, silent and smiling, just let the game speak for her. And the game said everything. The league belongs to Clark. Everyone else is just trying to catch up. As Caitlyn Clark's name echoed louder than ever, Angel Reese was fighting a battle she couldn't win.
52 points is the lowest point total that Chicago has had since 2011. So it's actually tied for the 5th lowest, apparently, in point total in team history in a regular season game. And the Indiana Fever has beaten the Chicago Sky by a combined 62 points in 2 games.
Because it wasn't just about stats, rebounds, or fouls. It was about presence. And Clark's presence, even from the sidelines, overwhelmed everything Angel Reese tried to accomplish. Reporters weren't tweeting about Reese's box score. They were quoting Clark's confidence. Fans weren't chanting for Angel, they were chanting for Caitlyn. That kind of imbalance isn't just felt on the scoreboard, it's felt in the soul. Reese tried to assert herself, but the more she pushed, the more forced it looked.
Caitlyn Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlyn?
Yeah, she's so good at basketball. Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Sloppy fouls, missed putbacks, a visible shake of the head. Body language that screamed defeat. Not because she was losing a game, but because she knew she was losing control of the narrative. She wasn't the star anymore, and she knew it. You could see it in her movements. She wasn't just playing under pressure, she was playing under Caitlyn Clark's shadow. And it wasn't just the fans watching this collapse. It was the massive crowd right there in the arena. They saw it happening live. Reese, unable to get in rhythm, while the crowd buzzed every time the camera showed Clark in warm-ups.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlyn Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlyn Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Or sitting with her teammates. Clark hasn't even practiced 5v5 yet, and she's still the most important person in the building. That's not just power, that's control. That's why it felt like humiliation. For Reese, it was clear that this wasn't her moment, even though Clark wasn't even playing. And let's not forget, Angel Reese was the one who embraced the villain role. She courted the attention, leaned into the drama. But when that spotlight turned hot and the expectations soared, she didn't rise. She cracked.
This is how she showed up to the game. Right here, dressed like an Eskimo. Now, about any Angel Reese video I ever do. I mean, come on, folks. And look, this is what Angel should be doing.
In contrast, Clark handled adversity with calm, patience, and mental toughness. She sat, she studied, and in doing so, she took all the noise Reese thought she owned and made it her own without saying a single word. That's why the word tears isn't just a title hook. It's real. Not in the literal sense, but in the emotional unraveling, the visible signs of mental exhaustion and unspoken defeat. Angel Reese came to the court trying to prove she was that girl. But by the end of the night, it was obvious. She was just another player in Caitlyn Clark's world.
Angel Smollett, in her own words.
Yeah, obviously there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So I think they've done a great job putting that out, and we're obviously just going to respond as they need to.
No evidence. Shocking. The WNBA is a joke. And even with Clark carrying the league on her shoulders, it still sucked.
What we witnessed wasn't just a game. It was a reality check. Caitlyn Clark returned from injury, stepped onto the court with fire in her eyes, and left no doubt about who the real star is.
Caitlyn Clark said Caitlyn Clark signed autographs tonight. Caitlyn gonna do what Caitlyn does, man. Even though she ain't playing, people still gonna come out to see her just to even get a glimpse of Caitlyn, bro.
Angel Reese may have tried to play the role of the villain, but in front of that massive crowd, it was Clark who stole the show, shattered the narrative, and left Reese in tears. Both figuratively and, for some, quite literally. This wasn't just humiliation, it was domination. And if you're still doubting Caitlyn Clark's impact, just watch the replay. The crowd didn't come for drama, they came to witness greatness. Drop a 100% in the comments if you're riding with Caitlyn all the way.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball. Period.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlyn Clark.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlyn Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
And don't forget to subscribe for more updates, because this is only the beginning. Clark isn't just back, she's taking over.